Whether you are a seasoned coin collector, a curious investor, or someone who has just discovered a handful of old coins in a drawer and wondered if they might be worth more than their face value, you are in the right place. Today's journey takes us deep into the fascinating and sometimes surprising world of American coinage, where small everyday objects can carry stories, mysteries, and values that reach far beyond what most people imagine. Our focus today is the Liberty One dime from 1992 with the D mint mark, a coin that at first glance appears ordinary, yet under the right circumstances has been associated with values reaching as high as $54 million. That incredible difference between 10 cents and millions of dollars is not magic, luck alone, or exaggeration, but the result of rare errors, minting mistakes, unusual mint mark variations, and extraordinary possibilities that turn an everyday dime into a legendary collectible. The 1992 D Liberty One dime belongs to the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946. This series honors President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II left a lasting impact on the United States. Roosevelt also played a key role in supporting efforts to combat polio, making his image on the dime especially meaningful because the March of Dimes campaign was instrumental in funding research to fight the disease. By 1992, the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for decades, and millions of Americans handled these coins daily without a second thought. The obverse design shows Roosevelt's profile facing left, with the word Liberty above and the phrase "In God We Trust" beside his neck. The date 1992 appears clearly, and just to the right of it is the D mint mark, indicating the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse displays a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch symbolizing strength. In 1992, the Denver Mint produced an enormous number of dimes intended for everyday use. These coins were made of a copper core bonded between outer layers of copper-nickel, giving them the familiar silver-like appearance without containing precious metal. Because of their common composition and massive production numbers, most 1992 D dimes are worth exactly 10 cents today. However, within this ocean of ordinary coins exists a tiny number of extraordinary examples. These rare dimes stand apart because something went wrong during the minting process. Those mistakes, rather than reducing the coin's value, transformed it into a numismatic treasure. The minting process itself is a complex, high-speed operation involving multiple stages. Metal is rolled into sheets, blanks are punched out, the blanks are washed and annealed, and then they are struck by dies under immense pressure. Each die contains the engraved design of the coin, and each strike must align perfectly to produce a standard coin. Even with modern machinery and strict quality control, errors can and do happen. When they do, the resulting coins often escape detection and enter circulation, where they may remain unnoticed for years before being discovered by a sharp-eyed collector. One of the most significant error types associated with the 1992 D Liberty One dime is the off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the planchet is not properly centered between the dies at the moment of striking. As a result, part of the design may be missing, shifted, or cut off entirely. On a 1992 D dime, this could mean that Roosevelt's portrait is only partially visible, or that the word Liberty appears incomplete. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Minor off-center errors might bring hundreds or thousands of dollars, but extreme off-center strikes that show a large blank area while still retaining the date and mint mark can be worth millions. In some legendary cases, such coins have contributed to valuations approaching $54 million when combined with other rare factors. Another highly prized category is the double strike error. A double strike happens when a coin is struck more than once, often with a slight rotation or shift between strikes. This creates overlapping or duplicated images on the coin. On a 1992 D dime, a double strike might cause Roosevelt's profile to appear twice, slightly offset from each other, or cause the torch and branches on the reverse to look blurred or doubled. These coins are visually dramatic and instantly recognizable to experienced collectors. Because double strikes require a very specific sequence of mechanical mishaps, they are relatively rare, and well-preserved examples can command enormous prices. Closely related but technically different are double die errors. A double die occurs not during the striking of the coin, but earlier in the process when the die itself is created. If the die receives multiple misaligned imper. If you've ever held a dime in your hand and thought, "This is just 10 cents, nothing special," today's discussion may surprise you, inspire you, and maybe even make you look twice at every coin you come across from now on. We are diving deep into the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 dime from 1993 with the D Mint mark, a small coin with a face value of just 10 cents, yet under extraordinary circumstances associated with values reaching as high as $53 million. That difference between 10 cents and $53 million is not fantasy or hype alone, but a story built on rare minting errors, production mistakes, unusual mint mark problems, historical context, collector demand, and the incredible possibilities that exist within the world of numismatics. The 1993 D Liberty 1 dime belongs to the long-running Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt's image was chosen not only because of his leadership during some of the most challenging years in American history, but also because of his personal connection to the March of Dimes, a campaign that helped fight polio, the disease that affected him personally. By 1993, the Roosevelt dime had become one of the most familiar coins in American pockets, purses, and cash registers. Millions upon millions of these dimes were struck each year, and the vast majority were intended for everyday circulation, never meant to be saved or admired. The obverse of the 1993 D dime shows Roosevelt's profile facing left, with the word Liberty clearly visible, along with the phrase "In God We Trust." The date 1993 appears to the right of Roosevelt's neck, and just above it sits the small but crucial D Mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse features a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength. Around the edge are the words United States of America and 1 dime. In composition, the coin consists of a copper core bonded between layers of copper nickel, giving it a silver-colored appearance without containing silver itself. Under normal circumstances, a 1993 D dime is extremely common and worth only its face value. Millions were produced, circulated heavily, and spent without a second thought. However, hidden within this massive production are a tiny number of coins that are anything but ordinary. These rare examples owe their extraordinary value to errors that occurred during the minting process, mistakes that slipped past quality control and entered circulation, or were set aside before ever reaching the public. These errors are the key to understanding how a simple dime can become a multi-million-dollar treasure. To appreciate these errors, it helps to understand how coins are made. The minting process begins with large metal coils that are rolled into thin sheets. From these sheets, round blanks called planchets are punched out. These planchets are then cleaned, heated, and fed into coin presses, where they are struck between two dies under enormous pressure. Each die carries the engraved design of the coin. When everything works perfectly, the result is a standard, flawless coin. But when something goes wrong at any stage, an error can occur, and that error can transform the coin into a rare collectible. One of the most dramatic and valuable errors associated with the 1993 D Liberty 1 dime is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly aligned in the press at the moment of striking. As a result, part of the design may be missing or shifted toward one side. On a 1993 D dime, an off-center strike might show only part of Roosevelt's face, with a blank crescent of metal on the opposite side. The more extreme the off-center strike, the rarer the coin becomes. If the date and mint mark are still visible, the value increases significantly. Extreme off-center strikes that are clean, dramatic, and well-preserved are among the types of errors that can push a coin's value into astonishing territory. Another major category of errors is the double strike. A double-struck coin is created when a planchet is struck more than once, often with a slight rotation or shift between strikes. This can result in overlapping images, doubled lettering, or a ghostly second impression of Roosevelt's portrait. On the reverse, the torch and branches may appear doubled or misaligned. Double-struck coins are visually striking and immediately catch the eye of collectors. Because the sequence of events required to create a double strike is relatively rare, these coins are highly sought after, especially when the doubling is bold and unmistakable. Closely related but technically distinct are double die errors. These occur not during the striking of the coin, but during the creation of the die itself. If the die receives multiple misaligned impressions during its manufacture, e.g.,